Hi everyone, it's Rachel here. So I'm back with another video, as you can see, and one of my goals this year was to use up scrapbooking pages that I didn't particularly love. Now this is a little bit grungy for me, this paper, and so and I've seen other people do it, it's an obvious idea and we do it on the book pages, is to collage over it and then use it. So I'm going to do this on this one. I've already done some others and I'll show you those in a second. So I'm going to participate in Anne Brooke's 52-week challenge, I think it is, tag challenge. So it's slow stitching, but their base is a tag, a paper tag. So they could be a fabric tag if you wanted, but because I've got so many bits and pieces of paper printed out and lots of book pages and things, and some, I've been looking through my folders, they've gotten out of control. There are papers that I've printed out like multiple times. So what I thought was, I've collaged using some of my own papers and then just some old book pages, these scrapbooking papers, and they're from that same range as the one on the bottom. So and I didn't mind this one. That's a bit of the, I didn't mind that bit, but I didn't like the other side. I'll show you the other side in a minute. So I've collaged over them with all these different papers, and then on the reverse side, because with Anne's project, and I'll link the video down below, is the other side will be written on of the tag. So I've tried to keep papers that if I go and write with my like for example my uni ball pen, if I've got it here, this pen writes really well on these pattern things. You can see it really well. So I've just collaged them with some random papers that I had lying around that have been sitting there for a while, and I thought I might as well use them. And I'm not making, this is not the tag, so just bear with me. I love that one. And I thought it was fun to use some of these old sample book pages, bits of fabric, you know, sample old fabric fragments. Oh, that's a tongue twister. And lacy sort of things as well. And that was a fabric design, and that was another sample there. And I actually, this was just an old book end page, and I actually stuck it with the writing on that side because I wanted to keep that. And so we've got to do this one. And my idea was, this is the side where I'll stick my, or stitch on or stick on my stitched piece. And I'm going to get my Sizzix out and cut them into tags. Now I'm just going to have to decide, no, maybe I won't get my Sizzix out. I don't really need a tag cutter. I'll have a look at the frames that I've got. I'll pause the video after I've done the collaging. Have a look at the framelets I've got. But I might even just decide to do 3 rows like that or something. Or yeah, maybe, I don't know, or 3 rows down there and then in half and get my tag. So I'd get 6, but I need 52. So I got to get cracking. I'll probably use up all my pieces, won't I? Depends how big I decide to make the tag. And so what I've done here, I've done large pieces because it's going to be cut up. So you don't know what you're going to see in the tag, because then there's going to be the embroidery, the stitching stuck in the middle. So you're only going to get the edge. So most of it's going to be covered. So I'm not too fussy about what I'm putting down there. I just want to cover it. So we'll do this one. And I don't mind a bit of this showing, but I really dislike this side of the paper. It's too grunge for me. I just don't do that, do I? I'm not a... You never see me doing that sort of stuff. And I've literally had them for years and I never used them. I used the papers in the pack that I liked, and then I didn't use any more. That was it. So that's a piece of that embroidery left over. I'm keeping these little bits because they've come in handy, like here, where the 2 pieces didn't quite meet, and I put a pretty little strip down there. So but I've nearly run out of them now. They're really using up things. So anyway, I'll just start off with a piece of book page, and this is the type, you know, a type of collaging at this point that is, actually I can glue it on here, that is not going to be too fussy, because as I said, it's mostly going to be covered up. You're only going to be getting a little hint of, and in this case, because I don't mind the edge of this, I can even set my piece away from the edge and have a little border around it. There's no, why not? Because it's quite nice. So let's get some, I'll just lay down a few bits of book page. I might even put this one on. I don't want that lumpy bit. Might as well use it. So I'll put this on. You know, I've usually got my usual vigorous gluing happening here. So yeah, so I wanted to say, oh no, I might put that one down there. I said I wasn't being fussy. Oh, and I highly recommend if you're doing this, because we're going over a large piece of paper, get your card and use your card to spread, you know, flatten it. I think that's a good idea. So I keep using the same one. I need to use up this piece. This was a photograph I took actually. I never put this in a kit because it's actually in the Vatican. I don't know if that's really allowed, so I didn't do that. But I liked it. My sister and I took a photograph of the tiled floor. And so I think I'll stick it. Mostly will be covered up by the stitching. But I thought I'll cut them up and I'll have the excitement of seeing what will my tags look like. And I need 52, as I said. And I just thought it would be another dimension of fun to Anne's wonderful project, because Anne is full of fantastic projects. But I just thought it'd add that little bit of extra fun and dimension to the project because I've made the tags. I mean, you can go out and buy tags at the office supply shop, no problemo. But I just felt like I've got stuff to use up. So I am going to make my tags. I tried to ring my mum before. She didn't answer, cheeky monkey. No, I think her, so, you know, sometimes even on my phone, when you use Skype, it doesn't ring for some reason. You get the missed call, but it doesn't, like the sound doesn't come out. So sometimes it doesn't ring. So that would be why she didn't answer. I might use a bit of this. See, I have these printed out multiple times, these papers, because what happens is I don't remember where I put them. I really need to conglomerate them, I think. And so I have them. I wanted to use that ruler. Why am I using that one? This is my go-to ruler now. I just rip everything with it. Just rip away. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so I tried to ring my mum. I wanted to see if she wanted to do it. I was even going to offer to make her tags if she wanted them, so she could stick her stitching on them. Anyway, I'll try it tomorrow. She'll be asleep now. It's midnight there. Oh no, nearly 1 probably in the morning. So I have glorious weather here. I said to Stefano, one of the positive things, if we wanted to try and find some positives in the last year, is that, you know, being at home a lot, being encouraged to stay at home, especially in the big cities. Italy has quite a bad pollution problem. And I've noticed that the sky is much clearer. We usually have this sort of humid haze over the sky. We never get we don't often get unless there's been a big wind or something, which doesn't happen that often. But we don't normally get the beautiful blue skies like what you get in Australia, and I imagine in other places in the world. I can't speak for too many places. But I know, like, for example, when Steph came to Sydney, he was shocked by the blue sky there. He just couldn't believe that he was in a big city and there was this intense blue sky. And it's just, you know, I think there might be a little bit less pollution in Australia, although I don't know. But we also do get a lot of sea breezes that sort of takes away the pollution, where we don't get them as much here. But because people, especially in cities like Milan, are not moving about quite as much, there is less pollution. It's taking me a long time to get that out, isn't it? Yes, there's less pollution than normal. Why don't I just... No, I'll use that for... Oh, here we go. Here's a nice piece. I'll stick that right there in the middle. Yes, so there's less pollution, so that's been a positive thing. But we did notice, like in the summertime when we were allowed to move around more, that we did start getting that haze back again. So there's definitely something to be said about, you know, factories have stayed open, but factories not being allowed to, when they were shut down in the first round, not being allowed to you know, they were all shut, and so there was no pollution going up into the sky. Oh, why am I having so much trouble talking? I can't get my words out. It's just a bit of a disaster, really. So I'm being a little bit of a fuss pot with this one. I don't know why, because as I said, it's nearly going to be all covered. It honestly will be covered up. I'll put it there. I think I like it there. Don't know why, you know, I shouldn't really be fussing about it. I think I'll continue to glue on here while I've got a little bit of space for it. And I've got to tell you, it's so much fun doing this. I'm just, been having too much fun. Too much fun. Too much. And that's that little piece there. Okay, so let's see what else we've got. Might put a bit of stitching. You won't be able to see it though, but I'll put it there anyway. I might even do that whole bit down there. So let's rip this. So we went out we've been going for walks every day. We're allowed to do that. We just take our mask with us, and when anybody, because as I said, we're not right in town centre. So, you know, people are few and far between, even though it's not like there's houses everywhere. It's like a suburb, kind of. Although suburbs in Italy, they're kind of, not really suburbs, but anyway, extensions of the town. But yeah, people are few, and it's a bit more, less densely populated. So, people are few and far between. And when you go past someone, you just whip your mask on and then take it off again once they've gone by. See, it's easy. And then we turn down, that's on the main road to Sant'Angelo. And then we can turn down this other road, and then it's all country fields, which is really nice. We really enjoy that walk. Lily locks herself in her room while we're gone. She doesn't like being here by herself. I was the same. I think I'll stick that there, even though it'll probably all disappear. And then, I'll decide how I'm going to cut them up. And I'll probably just cut them up off screen, because you don't really need to see me cutting up pieces of paper like that. You know what I'm doing. And then I'm going to make the first tag, because it's the first week. So I'll be on time. Just saying, everything's blue. I pulled out all of these blue pages. It's all blue. I don't want all blue. Here we go. Here's a bit of beige, kind of. So I'll do that. I think I'll clear off here once I've cut them, and then I will gather my fabrics, which is always fun, and we will sit and do the first tag. Do I want a strip there? I think I want it in a strip. I think I do. Even though I said I wasn't going to be fussy, I'm being a little bit fussy. I don't know. I'm obsessed with my ruler. I've got a ruler obsession at the moment. I'll put that there. Oh, and my sister's at my dad's house outside of Sydney, and I'm feeling a little bit of envy there. I'd like to be there. It looks lovely. Oh, Lily would too. We like going there. Oh, what are you looking at dresses? You're supposed to be writing your English essay. Oh, okay. Well, I'll be switching off my video soon, because I have to join several parts. It's going to be, it has to have other bits joined on. I think I'll have a bit of this. Now, I haven't got this one. Oh, no, yes. I haven't got this blue one in my shop yet. I did go ahead and design it quite some time ago, but I wanted to, then I got busy, and I wanted to do a few more shades or other colours to go with the blues, and so I haven't finished it. It is lovely, so I will try to get it done as soon as possible. But Steph's doing stuff on the computer at the moment. So until he goes back to work, which will be on Thursday, I'm a bit limited to what I can do on the computer. I do a little bit in the morning before he wakes up because he likes to sleep in. He's a bit of a sleeper-inner. Don't mess with the sleep. That's all I can say. Do not mess with the sleep. You'll be in trouble. So, I mean, if his mum can't wait till he wakes up, she rings me so I can pass the message on because she knows she's not allowed to mess with the sleep. Right. So, now we need to do the side that's going to, I'm going to stick that whole sheet down there. This is the side that's going to, I can't get my words out. It's going to have the writing side. It's the writing side. Now this one, I'm going to glue directly onto here. Hopefully I get enough glue. I don't want any, I got air bubbles in one, but it's not the end of the world because there's going to be fabric stuff. Oh no, yeah, I think it was on the decorative paper side, in which case it's not such a problem because I'm going to be sticking the stitching over it. Nearly there. Now am I going down? I don't like this dark edge. I'm sorry. I know some people would love it, but it's just not me. I like soft and pretty. Okay, so that's going to go there. Get my card. The card is good for these large expanses. Flatten it out. Did I get glue everywhere? No, I didn't. So you want the glue here. You don't want this popping up in the middle. Get the glue under there. It's better. Right. And then I can stick this one down here. That's perfect. So that can go on there. And then we don't want the deeply patterned papers. We want lighter coloured papers. And I have another one here somewhere. This one. Oh, and I've got that one. This was a wallpaper of some sort. So let's tear that one down. I might put that one here. And then we just need a strip across the top. And then each week I'll have fun choosing which tag to use as well. And these are not, it depends on how big I decide to make them because these are not enough. If they're smaller, I'll be able to get more out of a, 30 by 30 scrapbooking page. But I do have more papers that I definitely don't use. And that's run out, of course, hasn't it? Now here, I've got another one here. I'll use this one. You do go through a lot of glue. I did mention that in my previous video. When you're doing this sort of paper, you go through a lot. Look at that. I've got too much glue because it's been near my heat. It's not far, been sitting not far from my heater. It's melted. I can't use that. Just excuse me, I'll have to get up. That's just smushing everywhere. Oh, what a nightmare. I'll just grab one that's been away from the heater. Okay, the heater's obviously been turned on. Now that's fun and fresh. Maybe I can smush that one around. I won't press too hard. I'll just move the one around that's already on there. See, I've taken half of it off. There we go. That'll be all right. So that's going to go here. It's going to be good. Okay. And then I just need a little strip up there. Why don't we have... Oops, that's the doorbell. Just a minute. Okay, so I'm back. You're shaking about a little bit. Woo, nearly fell over. So I came back to glue down that little piece. That's silly, isn't it? I'm just going to rip that bit off there. Crooked, of course. And might glue a little bit more on. Just rip that little piece off there. Okay, and then I'm ready to switch off and come back with my cut bits. So I'll definitely need more, so I'll keep on doing it. It's so much fun. I just love doing this. I mean, look how pretty that's become now. All the pretty papers. Okay, so that's the writing side. And that's going to be the side where the stitching's going to go. So I just close my glue because I forget, and then it dries. And I'll put that over there. Okay, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I'm back. I've made my tags, and I got the oops, my light's moving, sorry guys, the scrapbooking paper, and I'll tell you how I cut it. So I cut it 12 centimeters, so 2 strips of 12 centimeters, because it's 30 by 30, so 12 and 12, which makes 24 centimeters, and then I had a strip of 6 centimeters. My width, so my height is 12 centimeters, okay, and then which is 4 3/4 inches, and then my width is about 2.5 inches, or it's meant to be 6, but that one's 6.5. They're meant to be 6 centimeters wide. So I did. How did I cut my scrapbooking paper? I cut it 12 centimeters, 2 strips, and then I was left with a strip of 6 centimeters. And then in theory, I cut it 6, 6, 6, 6, 5 times, because 6 times 5 is 30 centimeters. And so I got 5, 10, 12. More or less from a sheet. Am I calculating correctly? Because I got 2 from my strip, that was 6 centimeters, and then I got 5 from each row, that was, the height was 12 centimeters. So I've actually I cut one the wrong way because I looked at Anne's video, and I really love them. I looked at Anne's video. I'm going to get, these rings are from some AliExpress tags that I had bought. And I didn't throw them out, so that I've got some of those big metal ones, but I just have to find where they are. So for the moment, I've got them on here, but I would like to get a big one that they all fit on one, and then that, they will grow because they're going to have fabric attached to them. But there's about 57 here, so I got a lot from 4 sheets of scrapbooking paper, is what I wanted to say. And these are a great size for tags for journals as well. They're quite thick. But yeah, really fun. So I'll just quickly give you a glimpse of what they look like. I'm really happy with how they turned out. Some are plainer, which is good because depends on, I don't know what Anne's instructions are going to be each week. So maybe if I flip them, if I flip them over, I won't go through all of them because it's like 57. But yeah, so I've got that side is for writing. Oh, that one's around. No, that one's for writing as well. I've sort of got them on the front way, in theory. So that's they turned out really well. I was really pleased with how they worked. So I just quickly go through them. So that's those, the back, and then these as well. And some of these are a bit more colourful. Oh, they're super nice. So yeah, so depending on what Anne's instructions is, I'll just go through and choose one. And if I get to the end and I don't have one that's the right colour, then I will just make some more and keep those for journals. But as I said, I will put them onto one ring, but at the moment, that's all the only rings that I had. So I was thinking I might, for week 1, it's white. And now, another disclaimer before I get cracking is that Anne said that if you don't want to do what she does, like what her instructions are for the week, you can do whatever you want. Now, I don't want to be, if I decide not to do something because it's something that really is not me, I don't want to get into trouble because I'm not following Anne's rules. Okay, because that's happened to me before. I've done someone's challenge and a avid supporter of that person ripped me to shreds because I didn't do what I was told. And I had asked permission to do something different, but I still got into trouble from a diehard supporter. So Anne has said we can do what we want if we don't want to do the prompt. And I have trouble following the rules. I always have to add something. So this is how I'm measuring. I always have to add something, so it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to have trouble sticking with the white. I know I am, because I keep wanting to add something, but I don't know if it's... So this week is white, and I pulled out all these white bits that I might like to use. Now, is that allowed? It's off-white, and it's got the stamp on it, but I really did like that. And then this is kind of a you know, like a creamy white, but I really like that. So I don't know if that's allowed. Anyway, Anne will forgive me, won't you, Anne, if I go off track a little bit. So I just pulled out these few bits here that I'd like to use, possibly. So let's just have a little play around. This is super pretty. I don't know which is the right way up. I think that might be. No, I think the other way is. So I think I might like a piece of this somewhere. Now this is a really lovely piece of linen, and even has like a little slub there, which I really like, but I might have to cover it up. I don't know. No idea what I'm going to do. But I think this is a really fun, first of all, I think it's a fun project. So thank you, Anne, so much for giving us fun things to do. And I like this scrappy piece of linen. I don't even know how old it's that old, but I like it. I like that. And yes, I was thanking Anne for giving us so many fun things to do. I didn't get to do the books, but I might do them one day. But I'll probably do them. I've been wanting to do a fabric book. There's a hole there. I like the holes. I did part with one for my sister, didn't I? That was kind of me. So I'm liking that. What was I saying? Yes, Anne's always giving us fun projects. I don't know what I was saying. I was thinking, I fancied doing a bit of embroidery, but I don't think I'm going to get any embroidery on here because there's all this stuff going on. So I don't know. I'm just going to snip some little bits off and see. So I had that there. Maybe I'll put it back. There. I wonder if I could have that shooting out the side there. See, I quite like that. So I could have a little piece of this just sticking out somewhere, maybe up there. I don't know. And you could have this. Don't want to cover up the hole. So you put things, as Anne says, you put things down and then you cover them up. Maybe I could fussy cut that a little bit. I mean, that's a super pretty tag. It's very bulky. Not that it's going in a book or anything. It's going to go on the thing, isn't it? It's not going in a book. So I could get some thread. Grab a pin. I don't have many pins in here. I think they're in the other room. And just pin it all together. I quite like that. Okay, well, I'm going to stitch that all down and see what happens. What fun. And I'm having extra fun because I got to make all my tags behind. They took me, I don't know, how long did they take me? I had to collage the pages. How long would they have taken me? I don't know. Oh dear, because I didn't video it all, did I? So, I mean, this is a super thing to do in front of the TV. I don't know how long it took me to make the tags. I then, what I did was, I didn't tell you that bit. So I cut them down into my little rectangles that were 12 centimetres by 6 centimetres. If you can't remember what that is in inches, just Google it. It's really easy. You can get the conversion. 4 3/4 by, I can't remember what, 2. Wasn't it about 2 or 2.5 or something? Anyway, so I did those, and then I cut, you know how you cut your corner. You snip it here and then you flip it over and snip it there. And then I used one tag as my template, and I just put the rectangles behind and snipped my corners for all of them. So they're more or less the same. I used my corner rounder for here. And then to put the hole, I put the hole in one with my crocodile, and then crocodile, and then I would lay it on top of the other ones, and then I could put 5 in at a time and punch the hole. So that part didn't really take too long to do. So that was good. I think this, I know what I wanted to say. I didn't finish my sentence. I think this would be a really fun project for someone learning to slow stitch, because what's my because? Because it's a small project. It's a very small project, and it could be a really fun way to, which I don't have any of, probably don't have any of my first projects, but they probably weren't even worth keeping because I didn't slow stitch. I was machine stitching and stuff, making crappy bags and stuff. Anyway, so, but it would be a fun way to keep your first project ever, or any project, even your more advanced project, of course, because you might be a little bit more advanced. Could be a good way to try out different techniques and keep them there. Instead of having a book, you've got them hanging on a thing, and you can hang it up on a hook somewhere and keep it. So what I'm doing is just doing some stitches here, random stitches, just to hold it all in place. And I'm going to pop over here because you can't see it because it's white on white, isn't it? So isn't that wonderful? So I'm just going to pop over here. I like to do this before I decide on doing anything else. It takes a bit of time. It takes a little bit more time than other methods, but it just makes everything. Now I'm going to couch over this one. I'm getting tangled because it is a small project. I'm just going to go round this bit here because it's going to anchor a whole lot of my pieces for me. But yes, and it's quite a, well, it depends on how busy you make it, but it's quite a quick project to do, I think. Although I'll be keeping you here a little bit. Although I could pause the video if I wanted to, and then come back when it's all stitched down. We'll do a little bit more. So I just work my way around. I stitch down as much as I can without having to stop. And you know, end it off and then move to the next section. Did I go through there? Nope. It's a lumpy bumpy thing. Oh, and the other thing I always say is you need to always stop and adjust, because when you're holding it, see how that's all sort of lifting like that? I always, you know, before I get round and stitch there, I'm going to flatten it all out and make sure it's not bunching up. And another thing to remember is you don't have to stay in the confines of your tag. You can have bits hanging over, or can we not? Maybe we can't, but I think you can. I'm going to have bits hanging over. Now what I've done a bodgy stitch. Oh no, I'm just hooked. I thought I'd done a bad stitch there. So see that piece is flinging out there. I just like that little rough bit shooting out the side. And I'm thinking, you know, there's one a week. So I think it's a very doable challenge, Anne. It's a fantastic idea. I think you're so clever at the challenges. Clever at stitching, of course. Amazing, immaculate wonderful stitching and so encouraging, and also just great ideas. I'm getting tangled in my lace and it's driving me mad. It's probably driving you mad watching me be tangled in my lace. And now it's making me have knots. I think I'm just going to have to rip that. That is what's getting in my way, those bits. And it's good practice, you know. Might be something that you might end up, these could be little clusters that you would end up learning to do and sticking in your journals. Although this is quite lumpy, this one with all the lace. I don't know, I might stick it on the cover of a journal in a corner or something, but it's a little bit lumpy, it is. You'd have to have a nice writing board for if it was to go into a journal, this one. It's quite the lump, let's say that. It's quite late. It's already after 5. I never do videos after 5, but I wanted to prepare all my bits. Just got to adjust it. I needed to prepare all my bits and you know, the tags. So it took, as I said, it took a bit of time. But I'm really pleased I did it that's terrible. Rather than going out and buying tags for me, because I've got all these papers. Anne is not necessarily a paper person, so she has a pack of tags. So I think Anne's measurements were 5 by 10. When I looked at that, I think I wanted it to be a little bit bigger. So that's why I changed it. As I told you, I can't follow the rules. It's difficult. It's difficult for me to follow the rules. And that being said, doesn't mean I'm not a law-abiding person, because for that I'm terrified of breaking the law. I wouldn't break the law. But I just, you know, in these sort of creative things, I can't help myself. I always have to divert, go off track a bit. So this is nearly stitched on, and I'm not rushing, I'm just enjoying the process. And now I haven't stitched up there yet, so then I'll be able to get rid of that pin, and then I'll have to end it off and come back to the other parts. I hope I'm not breaking the rules too much, Anne, by putting the stamped image on there, but I really did like that on the white on white. I really did. It really got me going. Okay. So please, no Anne challenge police. I don't want to be told off. I would appreciate it. Because then it makes me not want to share when I get told off. When really, yes, I am doing Anne's challenge, but I can do what I want. Because, you know, you're being creative, so it's a creative thing. So you have to, it's hard when you're, you know, doing something creative to be confined to something that you're not feeling necessarily. Like, or you might be feeling that you really want to do that. Well, I think Anne would not be offended if you wanted to add a stamp thing, or like I have, or something else. As long as it's in the shades, I think it's fine, probably. I don't know. I hope so. See what happens when you get a very fairly vicious, nasty policing sort of comment from someone when you're doing a challenge and you've diverted, even if you've asked permission to divert. It makes you not, you know, a little bit nervous about doing, you know, being creative and doing your own thing if you do another one. That's what happens. Anyway, that lady, I couldn't believe the lady that ripped into me when I was doing Tina's challenge. She has her own channel, and I couldn't believe that she was so nasty and vicious when she she herself does her own videos. I just was that's what really got me more than the nastiness of her comment. It was more the fact that she does videos, and I was just astounded that someone can. I would never write anything mean to anyone, even if I didn't have a channel. I would never write anything mean. Never. Anyway, she got blocked. She's not allowed to comment on my channel anymore. Unfortunately, she can still watch, and she can, you know, use my ideas and things like that or whatever. I couldn't stop her doing that, but she's not allowed to comment. She doesn't get that right. Well, there you go. There's, as Lulu would say, there's an awkward silence. Oh, dearie me. Anyway, don't think, like, it's not any of our lovely ladies that we all watched. This lady was trying to, you know, I think she was starting out. I'm not going to say her name. I still remember it. Most of them I forget. I still remember her name. But yeah, she was just starting out. I actually haven't been to have a look and see how she's going, but she was just starting out, and so I would doubt that. You know, she's not one of our lovely ladies. None of those ladies. None of the lovely my shall I say my YouTube friends would ever. I've never seen any of them leave anything untoward to anybody else. They're all very kind and supportive to everyone. And it's in general, it's a very kind and supportive, wonderful community that we're so lucky to be part of. And then occasionally you get a grumpy one, but not often, especially not people that usually do videos themselves because they know. Okay. So that's that. Oh, I really like that. And I like the background of the tag. Now, it could be just enough like that, but I'm thinking what I might do is I've got my floss here. I don't have any other flosses in here, but anyway, I didn't bring any others in because it's white. This is not quite white. I don't know if I even own any white floss. This is off-white. I think off-white falls into the category of white. But I'm thinking I'm going to go around just in a little running stitch. This beautiful stamp. It's by Makey Stamps, but they're having a break at the moment, so I use their stamps quite a lot. M-A-K-I stamps on Etsy. M-A-K-I. I won't remember to. Now this is I won't remember to probably to link it. I'll tell you why. Because I'm recording a few days ahead. This is my new thing I want to do. Because there are those days that for whatever reason, I might be in a funk, or I might, you know, there might be, you know, stuff going on. Life gets in the way sometimes, and I don't get to do a video, and it makes me nervous because, you know, you're used to having videos, and I'm used to chatting to you guys, and I know I can have a day off, and I probably will have days off, but as much as I can manage, I want us to stay 1 or 2 days ahead, a bit like Gail does, so that I'm a bit more organized. And so if I get really busy, then I can just have 1 day off. And I probably will have times when I'll catch up and I won't be ahead in my videos, but in those moments when I can be ahead, I'm going to be just only a couple of days. I'm not going to be weeks ahead or anything like that, unless I go away somewhere. Just a couple of days, just to have them up my sleeve, sort of thing. So yeah, I might not remember to link Makey Stamps. but that's where this comes from. Tracy does not does deals with them. She's had collaborations with them. She's like a wheeling dealing lady. But they have beautiful stamps that they've done from, I guess they're probably from public domain images. Like these sorts of designs are very old floral designs, I think, from or Renaissance or medieval times or that sort of thing. And so they have some wonderful old worldly sort of stamps that I really love. Two German girls, they're very clever. As I said, they're on a break. I can't remember when I read that they were reopening, because I was thinking I might just pop over there and have a look and see if there's any stamps I need when I was stamping the fabrics, because I haven't seen what any of their new ones are for a while. Anyway, what was I saying? So I was just wanting to stitch around this, just doing a little running stitch. Probably should have done a back stitch. Maybe I'll start doing back stitch. I can go back in there and add another stitch if I want to. I think I like back stitch maybe a bit more. It's also taking away, doing a bit more stitching on here is taking away the bulk a little bit. It's flattening it out. And I'm pretty sure I was talking about something else and I've completely forgotten what that was. Memory like a sieve, as I always tell you. This is a genius idea, Anne, I must say. Absolute genius idea to do this. You're a very clever chook. Love it. Something fast and easy. Getting tangled. Oh God, I've got a little loop to do there. How am I going to get rid of that? That's it. This will be like watching the paint dry, seeing me stitch around this flower. And I have to do my stab stitching because I'm going through the lace and it's quite hard on your hands. My thumb is quite sore. So don't ever think that, ladies, that, you know, when you're doing this stitching, it's quite hard on your hands because you're going through many layers. You're going through chunky bits. You're going through already embroidered bits like these. All these little bits are tough. Some fabrics are tightly woven and harder to get your needle through. Some are easy. So it's not, you are going to get achy thumbs. You do sort of, if you do a lot of stitching, I haven't been doing enough. I have been actually doing some stitching at night. So I'll have to, when I finish, I'll share those, what I've been doing. But what was I saying? Yeah, don't be surprised if you get achy hands and fingers, because that's just how it is. And I normally have my little silicone thing I put on here, and that helps me pull through, and you don't have to stress your thumb out so much by pulling so hard. But it's in the other room. I'm not organized, so that, you know, I have to suffer the consequences of not being organized. So anyway, I'll finish off this thread, and then I'll finish that off camera, that bit, I think. Oh my wordy lordly. There's some really tough bits to get through though, I'll tell you what. It's a struggle. So I've got little peekaboos of that nice old linen that was behind. I think it's white enough. I'm doing big dog's teeth stitches now. That's why I just can hear my mum in my head. Look at those dog's teeth. I know I say it all the time, but she would be telling me they're dog's teeth stitches. I'm doing bigger ones so I can go faster. Oh, this thread is just never ending. It's wonderful. It's always good when your thread doesn't run out every 5 seconds. It's a bit thinner here because I'm not going through so many layers. So that, I guess these will just sort of sit on their metal ring. I don't know. They'll just be a bit like the roll that, you know, the strip that we previously made. That was also Anne's wonderful idea. We love you, Anne. It's just really, like, for me, it was just for decorative purposes, not to be cut up or anything like that, but you certainly could cut those strips up and put them in your journals. I mean, they certainly make a lovely touch. I'm nearly at the beginning. I said I was going to finish it off camera, but I got there almost. I'm nearly at the start, so I might as well just finish it. Oh my goodness, there's such a thick bit there. I can't get in there. No, okay, I'm going to come back out and just go around the bottom here, and I'm done, because that's going to be the end of me, that one. Okay, so I've stitched around that just to accentuate it a little bit more. And I'm just thinking, do I need to go and get another shade of some sort of, it won't be white, because I don't, as I said, I don't think I've got any white. Or would I like to, I don't know whether I would like to maybe, just a minute, just let me grab my beads. They're just here. Oh God, I don't want to drop them. What colour did I pull out? Oh, lucky, I pulled out the white ones. Okay, so I could show you how my mum taught me to put beads on. I like the look of these ones. I've got two of those. They're in the wrong spot. What can I move? I'll put those over there. Those are the same. Oh no, they're not. They're not the same, so I'll put them back there. So could you get these? I love this. This is, the idea of this came from Melanie. I've mentioned it in other, Melanie Sullivan. I've mentioned it in other videos. I can't remember the name. Elizabeth Ward. Elizabeth Ward bead organizer. Look that up on Amazon. They're quite pricey. They're not cheap, but well worth it. Well worth it. That's what I think. I'm thinking, I don't know if it'll be too much. Just pull a few out. If I put a few beads, oh yes, I do like that. I'm going to put beads in there. I'm putting beads in, guys. Now, I may have to, that takes a little bit of time. Oh, and I don't know if this is going to go, like, I have beading needles, but I don't like them. They bend. This one's a little bit thick. I might have to go and find, see, some of these seed beads have bigger holes, and you can get through those. No, I have to go and get my other needle. I've got a thinner one of these that's not quite so wide, so I'll go and get that. And that way, I love stitching on beads, and that's why I was so excited to get the Elizabeth Ward. Maybe I'll see if I can find, just a second, I'll see if I can find my beading needle. It's awful. No, can't find it. So, no, I'll just be back in a second. Okay, so I'm back. This could be the longest video ever. But I'm going to see which of my needles here is the one that I can use for these seed beads. I couldn't actually find my, as you saw, I couldn't find my beading needle. I did have one. They're all thick. I did have one, but I don't seem to have one anymore because they bend. They're awful. They bend, and they're terrible things. I really dislike them. This one's usually pretty good. Let's see this one. Yeah, that's it. You just need one with a thinner eye at the top, a little bit harder to thread, just a thinner eye. And now I do have, you can buy, which my mum had me buying, because mum's really amazing at doing beading. She hasn't done, I don't think she does it so much anymore, because I'm not there. But she did a lot of it, and so you can buy beading thread, which is a stronger thread. It doesn't break, because as the thread goes through the beads, if they're going through a lot of beads, it can weaken and break. So what my mum taught me was to, you do your normal knot, just go down and do a stitch. Now, I don't know, this is mum's method, so I'm teaching you mum's method. Do a stitch. So that way your threads, oh my goodness, I'm getting tangled in everything. Sorry, guys. Okay, you do a stitch. Okay, and then you get your bead, loop it on there, and go down. And the way I find to get my bead to sit properly is I come up again, and I put a second stitch into the bead. And it just makes it sit the way you want it to. And it's also very secure. Then you come up again to the next spot where you want to put your bead, and the best way to do it is to put another stitch in there, because just say the previous bead or the bead afterwards, the thread breaks in there, then all your beads would come off if you've only done one stitch. And so if you put an extra little stitch in there, then it's less likely that all of your beads will come off if one bead comes off. Does that make sense? That's what my mum taught me. That's what she learned. And I like these beads here because they've got different. Now I can't get down there in my hole, but I'll find it somewhere, because it's, as you know, I'm going through quite a lot of layers, and of course I didn't think to get my other thread. It's not my thread, my silicone thing. So I'm just catching my beads here as best I can. Can't see for looking. There we go. Got one, and it goes through. Some of them have smaller holes, so some of them you won't be able to get it through, but you just check that before you put your stitch in. I think I forgot to put my extra stitch, but I'm going in here twice. Oh, it's hard work. Okay, so I'll come up here. Probably won't need too many beads. Now, don't ever assume that beading 2 is a fast thing, because it's not. I'm putting in my extra stitch there. It's not a fast thing, but it is very effective and lovely. Now, I've got that sort of pinky white colour. I think I want one of these whiter ones. That looked like smile. That one went through. That's all right. And you'll notice when you put your first stitch in, the bead is flopping about a little bit. Oh, what happened there? That's a broken bead. Where's it gone? Oh, I have to get another one. Something wrong with that bead. I think it was broken. It just fell off. I did go through it. So now I need to find another one. Here's one. Can I get it? I normally find it easier to pick them up with my needle, so I'm going through it again. And I don't know, the seed beads, I just in the past have picked them up at just like crafty sort of stores. I've bought some in Australia, I've bought some online. I've bought them even here at market. Sometimes there's a haberdashery person at the market, and they'll just be in little plastic containers with no brand on, and just a bit of sticky tape around them, keeping them closed. And so I don't even know. That, I mean, seed beads, you can get them everywhere. You can get them on Etsy. And I particularly like these ones, as I said, because they've got 2 colours. And you'll notice that the beads are a little, if you don't, until you put your second stitch in, they can be a little bit wobbly. But the second stitch is good. So I want a whiter sort of one there. Just made it with that one. So I'll probably have to put, I'm trying to go fast for you guys, and it's just taking me forever. Maybe I should pause it. I'm going to have a million parts to this video. I could just pause it and finish that off, couldn't I? I'll need quite a few more beads yet. It's probably like the most boring thing to watch, beads being stitched on. Whoops. And get tangled. Just anchoring that bead down. I'm going to come over here and put one over here. Thankfully it's a little bit less chunky here, so I'm able to get my needle through faster. And I want a white one. See, I haven't had too many problems with beads not fitting over this needle, even though it's not a beading needle. I really dislike the beading needles. I was like, Mum, what are you doing to me? They're awful. I kept breaking them, they kept bending, they were just flimsy. I know they have to be, I mean, I know sometimes it's absolutely necessary to have one because you can't get your needle in some beads. But I haven't had it, with the beads that I haven't had a problem with them. There you go. Oh, no, that one went as well, you see. I'm lucky today. Except for the bead that fell off that I stitched. Wasted all that time stitching it and it had fallen off because it was broken. Two more beads. I only need 2 more and then they're done. Someone had asked me to show the beading thing, how, you know, how I put beads on. This is how I do it. As per what Mum told me. So it's all Mum's fault if I'm doing it wrong. It's all your fault, Mum. Okay, and I'm going to put one more over here. And then I'm done with the beads. Good thing it was only a small area. Okay. Now, do I need a bead down there? No, I won't put any more beads on. That's enough. You wouldn't put beads in your journal. That'd be super lumpy. Okay. So let's close up the beads before I spill them everywhere, because that wouldn't be fun. Put those over there. Now, I feel like I need something up here. And I don't know. I could put a few buttons up there if I wanted to, but let's just grab some buttons. Where are my buttons? some bigger ones. Oh, that's a beautiful old. Look at that button that way. It's a bit big. Here's a little one. That one's a bit, it's a bit shiny. It's a bit too shiny. That's pink. That won't do. Oh, that's interesting. I quite like that. There we go. I'm going to put the buttons there. How about that? Now, Anne stitched hers on. She stitched hers on to the tag. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I think I might just glue it. So yeah, I do need to get a bigger ring than what I've got because they won't fit. And then on the back, I'm going to write, I don't know what I'm going to write. I'm going to watch Anne's video again for the 3rd time. And then I'll decide, oh, look what I've done. Stitched it through. Put that one there. I'm not used to stitching those sorts on. I'll just come up. Okay, so that's that. And then I'm going to put this one, and rather than being obvious and putting it in a row, I might put that, actually I might put it more towards that one there. Because in my mind, the obvious thing would be for me to put it in a row. I was going to stitch a word, but that takes even longer. We'll do that, save that for another one. So when I photograph it, I'll photograph the back as well, what I decide to do. So knot it again. Okay. So that's my little piece. I love the tag. Okay, I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to get my glue. I would normally use my PVA glue, but I'll use this. Oh, it's gone. Oh, I dirtied it with a dirty book. It was a dirty book. It's dirtied my thing, but anyway. You won't be able to see it. I'm sticking it on. I'll tell you why. Because my my tag, because I collaged it, it's quite thick. I don't want to, my hands are already tired. They don't need to be broken stitching it onto the card. I did like the look of it though, I will say that. I've got glue everywhere. Of course I do. And then I can just put a little bit of glue in the bit under the bits that I feel like need a bit more. Don't want it to catch on anything and come off. Up there. Okay, so that's my first tag. Did it? Okay, that's my first one. So then on the back, I think Anne put the date, and I don't know what else. I'll have to have a look, and I'll do that, and I'll photograph it. I won't do that on camera. And then it just goes back on the ring. Now this ring is no good, because in theory you should be able to, I know I've got them somewhere, I'll have to find them. You should be able to flick them around, but I didn't do the hole big enough, so they don't get over that there, so it has to stay there. But that's going to be my first one, so it's done. So there you go, guys. So let me know, and let Anne know if you're participating. I know some people already are, because I've already seen your wonderful creations on Instagram, and I thought, I'm a bit behind the 8 ball, I haven't started yet, but there we go. So that's white, Anne's white, with a little bit of, you know, going off track there. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I should hold it up closely for you. And I will see you with the next one. I can't wait to hear what Anne tells us is the next prompt for the next one. So I can't wait till week 2. So that's week 1. I guess we're going to stamp week 1, hashtag blah, 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 whatever it's called. And I put the date. Yeah, I'll put the date as well. So there we go. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you participate. And a good way to get yourself introduced to a little bit of hand stitching, slow stitching, whatever you want to call it. So thank you for watching. Bye.